Hello, my name is Trương Nguyễn. In this project, I'd like to introduce architect Tadao Ando. If there is any consistent factor in architect Tadao Ando works, it is the pursuit of Zen and light. Tadao Ando was born on September 13 in 1941 and a few minutes before his twin brother in Osaka, Japan. In the age of two, his family chose to separate them and help Tadao live with his great-grandmother. He was boxer before settling on the professions of architect, despite never having formal training in the field. Struck by the Frank Lloyd Wright designed Imperial Hotel on a trip to Tokyo as a second-year high school student, he eventually decided to end his boxing career less than 2 years after graduating from high school to pursue architecture. In 1968, he established his own design studio in Osaka, Tadao Ando Architects and Associates. In his career, he achieved many awards. The highlight was in 1995, he won the Bricker Prize of Architecture, which is considered the highest distinction in the field. But then he donated the $100,000 prize money to the orphans of the 1995 Kobe earthquake. It raises in Japan, where religions and style of life strongly influenced his architecture and design, and those architectural style is said to create a haiku effect, emphasizing nothingness and empty space to represent the beauties of simplicity. The simplicities of his architecture emphasize the concept of sensation and physical experiences, many influenced by Japanese culture. The religious term Zen focus on the concept of simplicity and concentrates on inner feeling rather than outward appearance. He believed that the change of the dwelling is to change the city and reform the society. His buildings and works, Coral Housing Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. In the Phase 1, the first phase complex is a three-dimensional grid based on a unit of 5.4 meters by 4.8 meter in plane. Following the slope, the 20 apartments units step back on the hillside. Cruise Housing Phase 2. The second phase complex is next to the first phase, but the two projects are independent of one another. Cruise Housing Phase 3 is L-shaped built on 3 levels. It has 174 apartments. It is a large project, approximately 7 times the size of the second phase. The third phase, here, architect introduced prefabrication. The next project is Just of the Light. Tadao Ando often used Zen philosophies when conceptualizing his structures. One theme he expressed in his work is the dual nature of existence. The space of chapel is defined by light. The strong contrast between light and solid. In the chapel, lights enter from behind of the altar from cross-cut in the congress wall that is extend vertically from floor to the ceiling and horizontally from wall to wall. For Ando, the ideas of emptiness means something different. It means to transfer someone into the realms of spiritual. The emptiness is meant to invade the occupant, so there is room for ritual to fill them. One element carried through Tadao Aldo's structure is his idealizations of the reinforced concrete wall. The last project is Water Temple. The Water Temple is the residence of Ninnanchi Shingon, the oldest sect of Tantric Buddhism in Japan, founded in 815. More than just a building, it is a sensory experience that represents a radical change in the millenary traditions of building temples in Japan. By the way, materials and sequence of spaces, the water temple is far from the wooden structures. Among the bamboo forest, mountain fields of rice and enclosed in a thin oval of concrete structure protected by smooth stamen berry. The temple appears as a lax of lotus flower. The lotus, a symbol of heaven, represents the emergence of Amida Buddha, which according to popular belief carry a message of heavenly paradise. In conclusion, besides speaking of the spirits of architecture, Elder also emphasizes the association between nature and architecture. He intends for people to easily experience the spirit of beauty of nature through architecture. He believes architecture is responsible for performing the attitudes of the sites and make it visible. It not only represents his theories of the role of architecture in society, but also show why he spends so much time studying architecture from physical experience. Tadao Ando bodies of work is known for the creative use of nature light and for structures that follow nature forms of the landscape rather than disturbing the landscape by making it conform to the constructed space of a building. Outdoor buildings are often characterized by complex three-dimensional circulation path, deep path wave in between interiors and exterior spaces, form both inside large-scale geometric shapes and in the spaces between them. The New York Times architectural critic Paul Goldberger argues that Ando is right in Japanese tradition. Spareness has always been a part of Japanese architecture, at least since the 16th century, and it is not without reason that Frank Lloyd Wright more freely admitted to the influences of Japanese architecture than of anything American.